This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back into another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show here at Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale here in South Tulsa. So glad you could be with us for yet another Monday, and an absolutely gorgeous one at that. And it is, dare I say, hot outside. I don't know. I don't know if I'm pushing it, nice. But it is compared to 2 weeks ago. It's a lot nicer outside, and feels like baseball weather outside as well. So that's quite the theme for this week is the crossover between basketball and baseball. But we've got a loaded hour for you here, so come hang out with us. We're here until 1 o'clock. A little bit different schedule here today because of Athletic Chapel, but we'll be back to our normal 11 a.m. time slot next week. But come check us out, hang out with us, get some lunch here at Waldo's. Always great stuff per usual, and a big thanks to them for having us out here per usual for the Basketball Coaches Show. And we'll have a little bit of baseball flavor in it in segment 2. Of course, we'll have the head coach of the women's basketball program, Sophie Anderson, with us right now until 12:30. Then we'll have Coach Corey Barnett from 12:30 to 12:45. And then we'll have baseball head coach Ryan Fulmer previewing the season from 12:45 to 1. So a locked and loaded hour for you. And we've got a lot to get to, but we'll start off with you, Coach. And obviously yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday. Did you happen to watch? Did you pay attention? Were you locked and loaded, or do you not really care?
I was locked and loaded on laundry, to be completely honest. I was just catching up on laundry. But speaking of baseball, I got to go back just a little bit. Fulmer spoke at our Athletic Chapel today.
Did?
Yeah, he did a great job. He did a really, really good job. So shout out to Coach Fulmer and his wisdom that he dropped to the student athletes today. He did a great job. So Athletic Chapel was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I know he's usually, I feel like in that setting, a man of few words, but
yeah, but it was like very direct, very bullet prone. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. That's kind of my style of learning. So I thought he did a great job. And he's just so smooth. He just drops a little bit of wisdom on us, and he walks off the stage. It's just like that. So I love it.
We'll have to put him on the spot about that later, so we can get some extra information out of him. But
yeah, no Super Bowl activities for me. We just ate leftovers, and I did laundry, and we just kind of hung out. We did watch, but kind of hit or miss. What about you?
We did watch, and I was glad that my pick was right. I thought the Seahawks were going to win, and they did end up winning. So that was cool. And but a fun fact as well. Dude I went to high school with actually recorded a sack in the game too, which was really cool.
Cool.
And we had the phone was blowing up after that, like, oh my gosh, Riley Mills, he got a sack. So that was a pretty cool moment to see. And cool. But it was a good night for Seahawks fans, not so good for Patriots fans, and I think the Patriots have had enough winning over the last, decade or so. I'm definitely not salty whatsoever. Yeah. But anyway, we'll move on from the Super Bowl. But you guys with another big game over the last week on Saturday, and one that was a really, really entertaining one to watch. I know we were watching it up at the hotel in Minnesota, and of course, it didn't end up going your way, 74-69, the final against South Dakota on Saturday. But I do want to start with that third quarter that you guys were able to put together. And you go down 12 into the locker room, and then you essentially almost eliminate that 12-point lead, it felt like, in a matter of 5 minutes. What was that message to your team heading into the break? And, of course, you go back to the first meeting. You guys handled them pretty well at their place. South Dakota playing probably better basketball now than they were at the early stages of conference play. But what was that turnaround like in the locker room heading into that third quarter?
Well, they were sagging off of us, and at that point, it was more of a challenge. It wasn't really rah-rah. It wasn't a lot of yelling. It wasn't anything being thrown. It was just more of a challenge. If someone's going to sag off of you, it was more of a disrespect thing. Like, shoot the basketball. Make them respect you. They're not going to guard you. You can put in any offense that you want. You can run screens. You can run pin downs. You can run staggers. You can dribble, drive, motion, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter if they're not going to guard you if you don't shoot the basketball. Right. So, I mean, it was just a very simple, it was a very direct statement and challenge, if you want to call it that. And, man, our girls are just fighters. They're competitors. That's why I honestly love coaching this group. That's why we love coaching this group, because they are that. and they will rise to the challenge. They will compete. They will fight. Whether it's a 12-point hole, 23-point hole, we've come back. And um, I just think now we're at the point where we're better than that. So you have to come out guns a-blazing from the tip, and you can't really sleep. You can't have a moment or a quarter where you don't score. And we're capable of that. We scored in the first, and we scored in the third. We scored in the fourth. So I think that was the challenge. That was the question. Shoot the basketball.
Well, I know we talked last week, too, about you wanting your team to get off to better starts. And I think you guys got that in a sense in that first quarter for sure. And you mentioned, them kind of giving you guys a little bit more space outside. You shoot 21 threes, which is a larger total attempt-wise for you guys as well. You convert 9 of them, so you can shut the three ball quite well. But we'll start with the first quarter, too. I mean, what did you like about your team's start? And, of course, again, that's been a point of emphasis.
Yeah, they responded. I mean, this group is special, and I just love their heart. I love their will, and I'm going to make sure I tell them that today. I love their will. I love their fight. I love the competitiveness. I love the answer to challenges. I mean, they just never quit. They never die, and you got to love that. You got to want that, and we have that in all 12 girls. So I think we're truly blessed to have that kind of group, and we see it every day. It's not like they pick or choose. It's every day in every game. So extremely thankful for that, and extremely grateful to have to coach that group. And the beauty side of it, and also sometimes the curse is they're younger, and that's going to be great for us because they know how to fight, and they know they've been in some tough battles. But I think now, once we just realize how good we really are, and we can do it for 4 quarters, like, I think we need to watch out because, we may shock ourselves. And I think that's a little bit of the fear side of it. Like, man, how good can we really be? But with 6 games left, let's go show the world. Let's go show ourselves.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned 6 games left, and on paper that may not seem like very much, but there's a lot of opportunity to
for sure
go out and show and improve. And I think you guys have done that throughout, the course of conference play already, but the chance to further that, of course, is always really, really important. And I know, the theme of the year has been that rotation that you guys have, and the large rotation that it is. And we see kind of another new face, leading the charge. It feels like almost every other game. This time it was Kaiten Donnelly, 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists for her. She was 50% from the field, 50% from 3, and one of those true freshmen that doesn't really play like a true freshman. And I think she did that on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to say Kaiten's been extremely solid for us. Same thing with Jaylee. She got in foul trouble early in the second quarter, so we had to pull her and sit her. We didn't need her to pick up a third in the first half. And then also Anna Trusty, they've just been consistent, but KD's consistent on both sides of the ball. Her IQ on both sides of the ball, what she does for us defensively, how she helps her teammates and covers, for her teammates, rotations, blockouts, being able to defend some of the best opponents. Sometimes she's on their best player or their best post player, so she's been huge. But to see that translate and to see that roll over into points for us, that's huge. She does have an advantage because she can post. So she's a bigger guard that can post up, and that helps us. So if you put a smaller guard or a light body guard, most guards don't know how to defend in the post. She uses her body really, really well to make sure that she can, kind of get that advantage and try to score easy 2 for us.
And despite the foul trouble, too, for Jaylee, she finishes with 13, 5, and 1 in that game, also on 50% from the field. And rounding out that double-figure scoring, Gentry Baldwin with 11 points. And she was also kind of working in foul trouble down the stretch there, but she also 2 rebounds and 2 assists as well. And you mentioned their defensive strategy was more so pack the paint, if you will. And when you look at the numbers, and of course you guys were forced to shoot a little bit more threes than you normally do. Again, still shot it well, 43% from outside. You'll take that any day of the week.
Right.
But points in the paint at 26. And what did you notice about their scheme, and how did you guys try and go about attacking it more? Because when you talk about the dribble drive offense, it's a lot of drive and kick. And how did they go about eliminating sort of the drive part of that equation.
Right. One, like you said, they gave us space, a lot of space. There was a few players they didn't even come out of the paint
Mhm.
on, but then they tried to slow the game down. Controlling possessions were big for them. So they slowed the game down. They really don't want to play at a faster pace.
Mhm.
So that is our advantage. So once we realized that, we tried to speed the game up in different ways, just being a little bit more active on the defensive end. But definitely their game plan was to slow us down, limit our possessions, which I think we're sitting pretty high nationally in possessions, per game, and that is a part of what we do. It's a part of transition buckets are a huge part of what we do, and it just creates energy. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to be a part of when you're
Mhm.
getting tips and stills and things like that. So, but yeah, that was their thing. It was definitely to slow it down. But once we started picking up the pressure just a little bit and changing the intensity on defense, that's what happened in the third quarter.
Yeah,
Immediate swing. They don't want. We always say they don't want the smoke, but they didn't want that pressure and that
right.
speed and that pace at all.
Yeah, that was going to be a part of my follow up too, because not only did you guys score 25 points in that quarter, but it just felt like the defensive intensity just ramped up to a different level
Yeah.
that we were seeing in those first 20.
Absolutely, and that's the huge part. Like where we've been trying to preach, and it comes with maturity. And just like the South Dakota team or South Dakota State, North Dakota State, they're just mature and they played, Division I basketball a little bit longer,
Mhm.
but no breaks. Like you really cannot have a break. Like you have to have that intensity and that fire for 4 quarters. And with us, playing a larger lineup, like leave it on the floor. Somebody will come in and give you a break. They will relieve you. And then they will come in and produce.
Right.
That's what I love about this group. The next person will come in and do what they have to do, and you look up, like Bella had 7 points,
Mhm.
or Hannah Coons, you call her number and she performs well. She's able to hit a three and get some rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that. So I love that you can call anyone's number and they can show up. But I think that was big for us in the third quarter, picking up our defensive intensity and just kind of getting after it just a little bit more.
You're back to back now and stealing my follow up questions. But
Uh-oh,
I was
man.
going to say
We've been doing this a while then.
I know. I mean, well, that means you're getting good at it.
Oh, wow.
When you talk about picking up that defensive intensity, and you partially answered this too because of the amount of players that you guys play and that they have legitimate experience in game.
Right.
I mean, how do you go about balancing that energy wise as a coach? Because I know as a Division I athlete, you're expected to do X, Y, and Z, and you should physically be able to do this for 40 minutes. And of course, that's the expectation of every coaching staff. But when you apply that pressure, of course, it's a lot more laborious on the defensive side, and that could affect you offensively. But as you said, I feel like that larger rotation kind of helps you guys in that area.
Well, yeah, and it should give them, I hope it gives them a sense of confidence and belief that is, going both ways. Meaning, I believe in you to call your number to come out and perform. And then, man, coach believes in me. I need to go out and perform,
Right.
And not only just one game, like that's been consistent. So, like, just letting the guard down and just going to go play because your number is going to get called and you have to have strong belief in that. But go perform and go have fun and just go play loose. So, I think, I mean, it's a two-way street, and I hope that as we head into kind of the end part and the big stretch of the back half of conference play, that we start to see that, we start to really chew on that and start to swallow that and just start to come out and just perform at another level, at another intensity, because you do have a teammate that's going to come in and back you up, which, I mean, that's fun to play. Like, I'm going to get in. That's nice to
Right,
know.
yeah.
Like, I'm going to get in and I'm going to go play. Let me maximize my opportunity.
And I feel like that almost makes the mental part of it simpler for
Yeah,
everybody on the
that's a good
team
point.
because you are going to see minutes
Exactly.
90% of the time. You don't
Right.
really have to, not that, athletes are changing their mental approach, but, sometimes it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm probably not going to play in this game.
Yeah,
I'm going to mentally
sure.
check out a little bit
For
pregame.
sure.
But now it's kind of like, all right, every single time you're out there, you're preparing to play starters minutes,
Yeah.
essentially.
For sure. And I mean, if it goes well, and it's not always about points for us. Like, I mean, Ari Gordon has had some of her best games for us, and she her stat line isn't impressive, but the things that she doesn't make the stat sheet,
Right.
whether that's a tip or a steal or deflections, 50-50 balls, things like that. But they've been huge for us, and sometimes victories and sometimes not, but still huge for us. And then hopefully for her, confidence builders, because those have rolled into 30 minutes sometimes or 20 minutes
Mhm.
sometimes. And um, she's done a great job for us. But I mean, everybody, like you said, just having an opportunity, that's a blessing, especially at this level, because a lot of people can't say that. You just don't get the opportunity. It's just business. But
Right.
for this team this year, that it has been that case.
Well, we are officially starting the petition on this show to make deflections an official
Come
stat in the box
on.
score. Because I think
We talk
every
about it all the
country,
time.
well, of course, I think every coach in Division One basketball would absolutely sign that
Yeah,
because every coach
absolutely.
talks about it in every interview.
Yeah,
It's
50-50
the
balls.
plays that
Yeah,
don't show. It's deflections and 50-50
I
balls.
agree.
And
I
if you
agree
put both of
100.
those in the box score, I feel like a lot of players around the country, like to the casual fan, would get so much more value.
Yeah, and I think sadly everybody wants credit. Everybody
Right.
wants to be valued. But if they see that on the stat sheet, I think it would. I
Well,
mean, it would go crazy on the
because you
defensive
mentioned
end.
everybody looks at points, everybody
Yeah,
looks at rebounds,
yeah.
and you mentioned Ari has games where she doesn't score that much. I mean, she didn't score, or excuse me, she had what 2 points
Hmm.
on Saturday, and I feel like Azila kind of falls into that category as well, where she also has 2 points, but they affect the game in so many other areas that you don't
Absolutely,
see
absolutely.
physically on paper,
You're
and
right,
we've seen
and they're
that.
huge for us.
Right, of course, and
Yeah.
we've seen that on multiple occasions off the bench. So NCAA, let's get deflections and
Come on,
50-50
start it
balls
up.
here on the box score moving forward.
For
So
sure.
speaking of moving forward, you guys play 2 of the next 3 at home, but before the back-to-back at home, you go up to St. Thomas into their brand new venue for the first time, and
Yeah, I heard
uh,
it's beautiful.
it is.
Yeah, it looks like
Seeing
it on
seeing
film.
it first time
Yeah,
in person on Saturday night, it is quite the facility,
yeah. I
and
heard it's cold.
it is cold
Yeah, that's
because they
what
play hockey there
coach
too.
told me.
So the
Yeah.
court is on top of the ice. It is a little bit colder than normal.
Yeah.
I personally don't mind that because I feel like it gets really hot in a lot of gyms
Yeah, I'm
when the
cold
game's going
nature,
on.
so
But
I may need a vest or a
yeah,
jacket or something.
I think you'll be okay.
Okay,
I
I
think
don't
you'll be,
know.
but
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll need a review
Okay, there we
next
go.
next Monday
There we go.
about how cold it was. But we mentioned how big of a game the South Dakota game is because you guys are going for the series sweep
Mhm.
and X, Y, and Z, and they're 9-2 now in the league, and obviously a really good team and a team that you guys have proven you can play with. But now you face a team in St. Thomas that is just a game back of you guys in
Yeah.
the standings at 4-6, and they're 11-13 overall, and they've had their struggles at home. They're just 7-8 at home, which I feel like is kind of rare in today's college basketball. But it's always tough to go on the road and win in any different league around the country, and you guys have a pretty big opportunity to try and create some separation on Wednesday night.
Yeah. One thing since we've been here, we haven't won at St. Thomas, so this would be, for our staff, something, that we haven't done. We get to check a box and reach a goal that we haven't quite met yet as a staff. So we're excited about that. But new facility, new opportunity. They're a pretty good ball club, and like you said, they're one game back. So once again, another big game. But you know what? I've just kind of been racking my brain this weekend and the past, I guess, day and a half since since Saturday, and I'm just going to focus on what we can control, and that's effort. We're going to prepare, and like Coach Foam talked about today in our athletic chapel, preparation equals confidence. We're just going to prepare. We're going to be confident, and we're going to walk in, and we're just going to control what we can control, and that's going to be effort, and that's going to be our attitude, and that's going to be our energy, and that's going to be our grit. And that's who we are. That's our culture words, and that's just kind of defines us. But we need to just kind of go back to the drawing board and hone in on those things, and kind of take the pressure off of one game back, and this is going to matter, because I don't
Right.
know if this young group can really handle that. And I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't know if young people, period, can handle big picture right now. Just kind of just small bite sizes. And most people like that. Like, what can I do today? We
Mhm.
can worry about the end of the month when it gets here, but what can I do today to get better? 1% better, And I'm excited about this opportunity because bounce back game. It will tell us a lot. And for us, as we talk and chit chat and talk basketball, it is very important. It'll allow us to separate just a little bit and kind of maybe anchor in that fourth place position. But as we go into practice, I'm going to bite size it and, just control what we can control.
You're probably sitting over there, Connor. Stop asking me
I
about the
know
standings.
it's okay. No, it's okay. We could talk it, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to put that pressure on our girls. But I mean, every game is huge. Let's be for real.
Of course.
I mean, Connor, like this conference is really, really good. Everybody's solid, and everybody's only one or two games separating each other, and like every game is huge. But man, look what we've done. Like I just got to sit back and see the flowers right now. Like, man, we have a winning record right now. We're sitting at 500 in conference play, and I'm extremely proud of this group and what we've done. And I think I'm going to walk into this Wednesday, this week, this practice with a heart of gratitude. Let's go play, but let's go play with, man, we are good, and we have proven that.
Right, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of an interesting scenario, too, where it is February 9th, and you guys play on Wednesday, and it'll be the first time you see St. Thomas this season.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you'll see them a bunch
Yeah.
here down the stretch, and they're led by Alyssa Sand, who's averaging just over 13 and a half and nearly 8 rebounds. And I know that's a point of emphasis for any team. And, of course, South Dakota was a pretty good rebounding team that you guys just saw. You get a chance to see another pretty solid one. And, of course, when, your leading scorer is nearly averaging a double-double, that causes all sorts of problems.
Yeah, rebounding will be huge. That's a point of emphasis for us every game. That's just an area where we just need to get better at. And this season, like we just talked about, controlling what you can control. Like we have to make an effort every possession to block out, and not only that, our rotation too. So if we're going to have to go double potentially, or if we're rotating because there's baseline penetration or something like that, the offside guard has to get in front of that post. And sometimes it's just simple as that. It's not really just being 2 and 3 steps ahead, not reactive, more proactive, and securing that offensive board. So, I mean, it's going to be a community effort like our whole season has been this whole year, but rebounding will be huge. I heard, they have 2 players that are, a force, in their guard position and in their post position. So, I mean, like we say, every game's going to be a battle, and rebounding and details and making sure we're taking care of the little things when you go on the road is going to be important.
Well, yeah, I mentioned South Dakota's a good rebounding team. I forgot to mention their margin is plus 8.4, which is otherworldly. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a rebounding margin that high. St. Thomas a little bit different, just 0.9. Yeah. So take it with a grain of salt, trying to add some context to the claims there. But, of course, the boards are always important. And you guys have done well rebounding the basketball, especially offensively. I mean, you guys average double-digit offensive rebounds a game, and I feel like that's a really, really hard thing to accomplish. I know the men's team on Saturday night set a goal for 15 offensive rebounds. They got 16.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't average 16 a night, but when you're able to get into those double digits like you guys have been able to so consistently, that's going to give you a chance to win any ball game.
Yeah, and then the conversion on that, that's going to be huge. I would like to see that stat, how we're converting the offensive rebounds. And I think that's one area that we can do a little bit better at, and trying to get some easy bunnies, we call them, some easy stick backs. And those are 2 quick points right there off of a rebound put back that you don't really have to work hard for. And so, I mean, that will be a point of emphasis as well, giving ourselves 2 and 3 opportunities to score, especially on the road. That's huge. But converting is even more. And for us, I mean, I think the free throw line was a monster for us on Saturday. So making sure that we're able to finish at the rim and then also knock down free throws once we get there. So, but extremely proud of how we are getting to the free throw line. But making sure that we knock those down, that's going to be a difference in a ball game. And I think that was for us on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was. And you guys get to the line 20 times. And, of course, you only convert 10 of them, which is a lower rate than normal. You guys shoot at 74% essentially, which is top half of the league. And I mean, is as a coach too, is that just something you chalk up to being a mental thing? Because I mean, you can go in and practice free throws anytime you want. It's not physically taxing, of course, but in a game when you get to the free throw line more times than not, you're tired.
Yeah.
So I mean, how is that something you guys are really going to address that much, or is it just, hey, we just got to get better?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if it was You got to get better. And I don't know if we'll hardcore address it because free throws are mental,
Right.
so you don't want to send anyone down a bad spiral. And that's all we do is focus on them. And so we will shoot them. We will work on them. We'll do what we do and what we've done. This whole season, just continuing to do that. But I don't know if we'll put a point of emphasis on it other than what we normally do, shooting when we're tired, getting 2 and 3 opportunities to shoot them when you're tired through the course of practice. But right now, it's just a matter of you got to step up and just get it done. It's just that point of season. You got to step up and get it done. Right now, you're game planning. Right now, you're taking care of your body. Right now, you're taking care of your studies. Right now, you're taking care of your mental. You got to show up and play, and being tough right now in the back half of February, it's a mental game. This is a mental game right now in the month of February. So we'll keep doing what we're doing and chip away. But next game, I'm sure it won't be a problem. We'll knock them down. I believe in them.
What was Sophie Anderson's free throw percentage at one point in time?
I don't know. I don't think I was the greatest free throw shooter. I would say 70s. I mean,
how bad do you think you'd beat me in a free throw shooting contest?
Because I'm competitive, really bad. I mean, come on now. Like, no,
wow.
You're a non-factor. In my mind, you would be a non-factor.
A non-factor?
Yeah, like that's my mindset.
I'm gonna
put a
quote graphic on my wall. It says, quote, non-factor.
Like that's my mindset.
Sophie Anderson. That'll be my motivational
thing. But
But
come on now. If we're competing, like I'm gonna get it done.
I would, you know what? I think we can probably make that happen at some
Okay.
point. I would probably lose, but free throws are free throws.
See, that's a bad mindset right there. See, my mindset, you're a non-factor, and then you said I would probably lose. Like, come on, I already won. Got you. Got you.
I didn't. Wow, you're sharp this Monday.
Man,
this is crazy. I mean, I should have come better prepared for that.
With that
you
opened the door.
I did open the door.
You did.
All right. Well, I'm going to go practice free throws once we're done here. See me in the MCAC for a few hours.
That's fine.
How about that? But just one last thing before we get you out of here. Moving forward, of course, you guys at St. Thomas on Wednesday, and then 2 games at home versus Denver, and then versus South Dakota State coming up. And we'll wrap it up with this. I know Saturday you guys are celebrating National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, and you guys are rocking the new pink uniforms, which I know were a big hit, of course. And just kind of a special day for your program overall. Just what was that like for you and your staff and your players, just to be able to celebrate that? I know Jordan was a big part of getting that all together. So obviously a really cool afternoon for you guys.
Yeah, Jordan did a great job, like just kind of getting it out there on social media. But I was happy for the girls that they got to wear their pink uniforms. Like that's a big deal for them. And even more what the pink uniforms stand for as far as breast cancer. There's so many people that, are in arm's reach or in hands reach that cancer has affected, either our families directly or we know someone. So being able to support, and kind of stand for that and be in support or actually support someone that's currently going through, that, I mean, it's a bigger picture, but the pink uniforms, is just a great symbol of what women and, breast cancer is about, but most importantly, what support and love and family and community is about, so very excited to wear those new pink uniforms. But women in sports, like me being a female head coach, like that is, I don't know, the biggest platform, almost the biggest honor, because I was coached by 2 female coaches as well. And you don't realize it in the moment, but man, how the impact they had on you. So I just pray that I am that same impact on the young women that I get to touch and be around and have touched and been around, through the course of 17 years. So I just pray that God keeps using me in a special way, and that I'm a great woman in sports. And I wish I could be a little girl some days in sports, because those were the good days. No pressure, but man, just a huge platform. So honored.
A really cool afternoon, and it was cool to kind of see all that unfold, and the pink uniforms were sharp.
Were they sweet?
They were pretty sharp. I was a fan of them.
I think the girls loved them. So
I think they were a fan as well. I think that's safe to say. But Coach, as always, thanks so much for the time. I will take the non-factor quote personally, and I will come back and beat you in the free throw. See, how about that? That's a better mindset. But as always, I appreciate the time, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Connor.
That is the head coach, Sophie Anderson, and we'll chat with Corey Barnett coming up next. This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC. Looking for delicious fried and rotisserie chicken? Look no further than Waldo's Chicken. Our Southern-style scratch-made sides are the perfect complement to our mouth-watering chicken. With dine-in, drive-through, and catering options, we got you covered for all occasions. Let us handle your next fundraising event, team lunch, or family gathering with our full-service catering options. Enjoy all your favorite sports with lots of TVs, and don't miss out on our daily food and drink specials each week. With 2 convenient locations at Broken Arrows, Tiger Hill Plaza, and 71st and Yale. Waldo's Chicken, the best fried chicken in Oklahoma.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back into the ORU Basketball Coach Show here at Waldo's Chicken, 71st and Yale. We are here until 1 o'clock as we're catching up with the head men's basketball coach, Corey Barnett, here in South Tulsa. Coach, as always, thanks so much for the time. Good to see you. Not so much time has passed since the last time I saw you.
I feel like we see each other every day almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is great. It's a blessing.
I sense some sarcasm in
that. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
I'm just messing. But we'll talk about some hoops. Of course, you guys have a little bit of a lighter week last week than normal. Just the one game, of course, up at St. Thomas against a really good Tommy's team.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go at St. Thomas as light, but yeah.
Well, quantity.
There you go.
Quantity, not quality. Quantity.
That's pretty high quality.
Is quality very high with the Tommies, and we'll start there. And guys of St. Thomas who are just they're clicking right now, and of course that kind of the 1-2 punch of Minnesali and Janowski. We were talking about them right before we got on here, and just impressive what they've been able to do. And of course they impacted the game, but I felt like you guys had a lot of impact on the game, especially in the first 20 too. And you guys go on a run to close out those first 20 minutes. You get a couple of big threes from Martins. You get a couple of big threes from Connor. And it just felt like a really, really invigorating first half, I feel like might be the right word to use. And of course, you guys came out swinging. You met some of your goals too. Of course, the offensive rebounds were huge and just dominated the glass all night long. That was a huge bright spot.
Yeah, no, it was good for us. Yeah, I think the guys had a mindset in the first half, and unfortunately, in that second half, they, like we talked about post game, they punched us in the mouth, and they had a very clear plan to go at us at the rim, and unfortunately, we just didn't stand up to what we need to do one-on-one. And we watched a lot of that film yesterday. It wasn't fun, but that's how you grow. And I talked to our guys a lot about the fact that you're going to get hit with adversity in life, and how much success you have is fully dictated on whether you see that adversity and take it and allow it to strengthen you, or you run from it, or you hide from it, or you victim mindset it and you point to other things. And right now, we're not at the spot we want to be, and we need to be able to see that and use the adversity as opposed to looking away from it. You need to look right at it and allow it to strengthen you and allow yourself to grow from it. And we have a great opportunity this week to do that. So.
Well, I know foul trouble was a big storyline pretty much from the get-go, and Ty picks up 2 quick ones, and he's got to sit for a while, only played 17 minutes. And I know Chase ends up fouling out, and I feel like we can say certified tough guy, Chase Martin, guy who gets hit in the face twice and still comes back in. And I mean, I know we keep talking about this week after week now since he's gone into a starting role, but, man, he has been impressive. And just a couple of instances, too, in that game where you guys just feed him at the elbow, and then he's squaring up and going. And I didn't think I'd see that out of Chase Martin this year, but his offensive game is really seeming to evolve, I should say, with each and every single opportunity.
Yeah, I would say the benefit that Luke and Chase are seeing right now is just buying into the process and the role that they're asking to be played, and not fighting it whatsoever. And both those guys have been guys who have leaned into all the things that we're asking them to do, and regardless of what else is going on around them, their circumstances or what others are saying or thoughts, they're quieting that noise and they're getting into the process and they're grinding it out. And both of them have been benefactors of that. And I love the way that both those are approaching it mentally. And obviously we need to have the results in the court in terms of how we put the ball into the hole, and not just take the shots. And we need to make the shots in that second half. We didn't. I thought we created quality shots. Watching it back, we just didn't make them at a high enough clip, and that's an area we really got to grow. And the only way to grow in it is by getting in the gym and grinding. And both those guys will do that and lean in a real way.
I know you mentioned putting the ball in the hole, and of course, Luke had a tough time from outside just from an efficiency standpoint, but I feel like it says a lot about the growing confidence he has to take that shot, because he took 8 threes, and that's by far his career high in attempts from out there. And he was not afraid to let it fly, where maybe last season or early on this season, he may be a little bit more tentative to take that shot.
Yeah, no, I think he needs to continue to mix up his game with how he attacks teams in the post and how he goes at the rim. And obviously, St. Thomas is without a real true center. Bajorki is obviously a very, very good player. This is just not a normal looking 6'10", strong, athletic dude. So that's an area we got to continue to exploit when people put guards on our forwards. We need to go take them to the rim, and then when they play us in coverage, especially Luke in coverage, he needs to pick and pop and shoot that thing with confidence. And that's something we're trying to help our guys really lean into, is just the confidence piece of it. And I think we've gotten to that area. It just now needs to turn into efficiency, and I've seen that turn obviously very quickly. I mean, you look at a team like Denver who goes and sweeps the North Dakotas, and that was a team that was really struggling. They were right with us in terms of record, and but they've really turned it on as of late. And it takes one game to change your confidence, one outing and how you shoot it to change your confidence, and that's something that we're hopeful for with our team, that they can really lean into that process and keep trusting. And I mean, you go to our practices, and I've had multiple visitors come over the last few weeks. You don't see a team that has not won a game in a long time. So you see a team that's believing, that's talking on a daily basis, that's fighting like crazy, and I'm proud of that. And I know over the long haul, this adversity is going to strengthen us in a real way.
And Ofri Neve, another guy who had a monster game and follows up kind of a lackluster performance, which is uncharacteristic of him at South Dakota State, but 17 points, 12 rebounds, a couple of assists as well, and another guy who dealt with foul trouble, and he did a lot of his damage in foul trouble, but he stayed aggressive, and you would have thought, he had fresh legs and had no whistles on him, but he was all over the place.
Yeah, no, he did. He obviously fought like crazy, and he was somebody that I thought especially took the challenge defensively and offensively, and he really was aggressive and attacked. And he's had these stretches where he plays really well in games, and I think he's continuing to learn how to click into that and his mental approach. And as a staff, we're really trying to surround these guys individually and helping them understand what it looks like to prepare on a game-in, game-out basis, because there's just things you can't take for granted with 18 to 22-year-olds, and a part of that is how you prepare. And I thought a few of our guys, unfortunately, in St. Thomas game just didn't have the right mindset to start both halves, and those are massive. Trying to win it at a place where the team has won dang near 30 straight prior to losing North Dakota, it's not easy. They're very comfortable in that building. They're very comfortable at home. They're a team that can fill it up super quickly, and that's something you need to have a lot of maturity to be able to have that 40-minute effort. And we need it twice this week, and it's two really good opponents coming in. And obviously, you get UMKC on Thursday, and then obviously Saturday you get South Dakota State and on the second game. And those are teams that we need to be able to meet the challenge and play for 40-minute stretches and execute at a high level. And that's what we're obviously leaning into this week.
Oh, the head coach of the baseball program, Ryan Fulmer, coming up in about 5 minutes.
Heck yeah.
Corey Barnett is getting sick of the radio guy. He only requested 15 minutes.
I did request 15 minutes, but because it's an upgrade. Very much an upgrade.
No comment. I'm just kidding.
No, you should own that.
But you mentioned the 2 games coming up later this week, both at home. It feels like you guys have been on the road forever.
We have.
And coming back to the baby, and you guys get your first chance at Kansas City, of course, second outing with South Dakota State. And when you first look at this Roos team, and a team that has had a tough year, but man, they've been in a lot of close games where they've had opportunities to win against some pretty quality opponents. What have you seen from them?
Huge. I mean, their win obviously is at Omaha, which is not an easy place to go win. And then obviously they've come in and kept it really close and took South Dakota to overtime this past game. And so they're a team that obviously Marv's an incredible coach. He was in New Mexico State when I was in Indiana, and so I've ran into him multiple times. A good friend of mine worked for him. He does a phenomenal job, and regardless of the circumstances, I know he's going to have those guys ready to play, and they're going to be playing hard for him because of the human being that he is. And so it's a team that's going to give you a lot of different defenses to try and muck it up and make you stand and watch. So we got to do a really good job being disciplined at whatever they throw at us, playing with pace, playing with flow, attacking the paint, attacking the rim at a high rate. And then on our end defensively, they show some challenges, especially around the rim and in the interior. And we need to have the physicality in the fight to be able to take away that rim at a high rate and really force them to get to their inefficiencies as much as possible.
But I mean, they were in a ball game with Oklahoma State in the non-con, into the late stages of that one. And you mentioned the road win at Omaha. That was a big one as well. So a sneaky Kansas City team. They have struggled on offense. They only average 71 a game, which is last in the league. But when you guys talk about defending their offense, and you guys have had a handful of games, probably the majority of the games down the stretch, where your defense has played really, really well, and times at home as well. How do you go about shutting that down and just kind of making it your type of game on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, for us, every game shows a different challenge. So we're not as much we're going to dictate defensively. We're going to really get into what we do, and then obviously really try and take away, make you play left-handed as much as possible. So our guys need to be really in tuned with who they are, knowing them inside and out, personnel-wise, because it looks like we'll be playing them 3 times over the next month or so. So it's an opponent that we need to get very familiar with and learn how to adjust to whatever they throw at us. And obviously we've had a lot of different opportunities to learn from some real adversity and some really tough losses. And I think our guys are feeling that, and they're looking forward to getting back on the court and being able to compete.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see you guys, again, take the maybe center floor for the first time and in a couple of weeks. That'll be a refreshing sight. But just moving forward, too, and you guys have 6 games left here in this regular season.
Yeah.
4 of them are in your building, and that's always a big, big thing. And, again, you mentioned, kind of the rare circumstance where you're going to see Kansas City twice in the next 3.5 weeks or so, maybe even 3 times in the next 4 weeks. And when you go about, kind of preparing yourself for that, how unique is that as a coach, too? Because I feel like you guys have gotten in the rhythm of, all right, we've seen this team once. We're preparing for the rematch. Now it's a brand new challenge.
Yeah, no, it's just honestly, you just take out the game in front of you. It's all about trying to go 1-0, and you don't think past that. We're obviously really looking forward to an opportunity to compete on Thursday, and our guys have their minds in the right place. And I thought yesterday they brought a really good attention to detail and attitude, even though most of them woke up at 4:30 a.m. and got on a flight and flew back. They came ready to compete, and they watched film, and I thought they got a lot from it. And we're going to take today off, so we have a 2-day prep for UMKC, and I'm looking forward to getting it back on the court with them tomorrow and going at it.
I think you woke up at 4:30. I don't know about the rest of the guys.
Mine was 4.
Yeah, oh, wow.
And Buzz was in there, Williams, and they went and got a road win in Minnesota.
They did get a road win. That was an impressive road
yes.
win at Minnesota. The barn has been, weird things always happen at the barn, but the barn
weird
has
things
been
do happen at the barn.
Sneaky this year. That's impressive
Knock
stuff.
off Michigan State and follow it up with a tough loss to Maryland.
That's
a little wild.
weird things happen
Yeah,
at the bar.
volatile.
Their students dressed like farm animal. I don't know.
It's a little wild. I agree
it's
with you on
a
that.
little wild.
Yeah,
but
we took a tough L there when we were at Indiana as well. So
I was going to say you've had many an experience at the barn.
Yeah.
What was your record at the barn as a player?
I think I was 2-2,
2-2.
but the one we should have been 3-1, and yeah, they stormed the court and the whole thing. So I don't go through it.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we're bringing up PTSD for Corey Barnett here on this Monday afternoon.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
yeah, no problem. Hey, that's a perfect note to get you out of here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But Coach, I appreciate the
Bring in
time
the
as always.
closer.
Literally the closer for baseball is. I'll let you go tap him on the shoulder.
I'll let him know. He's in a deep conversation with
It's his time to shine here. But we'll have Coach Ryan Fulmer. But Coach, as always, thanks so much. And
thank you.
We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Sounds good.
So that is the head coach, Corey Barnett, here on the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. We're going to shift gears, though, over to the baseball diamond as Ryan Fulmer will join us here at Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale for the first time this season. We'll have the ORU Baseball Coaches Show weekly on Wednesdays at noon right here at Waldo's as well. Coach, good to see you.
How we doing, Connor? It's always great to be here right now. The sun is shining. It's 70 degrees. We're 4 days away from opening day. So, man, it's good to see you then, too.
Oh, yeah, it's about that time. I mean,
it
you
is.
guys should get out there and play on the diamond today. It is gorgeous outside.
Well, we'll be out there today. We'll have a chance to inter-squad tomorrow. That'll be our last inter-squad, kind of heading into the weekend, but get a good workout in today for sure.
So a big year coming up for your squad, and, of course, another successful season last year. You go 37-22, and I think the biggest storyline, at least in my opinion, is just the amount of guys you bring back and the production that you bring back. And it's really impressive, to see, because it's hard to do in college sports right now.
It's hard. Yeah.
The amount of youth that you guys got to play last year in big moments, and they showed what they could do. And now all of a sudden they're ready to rock for year two under your program.
Yeah. As you said, you look at this year's club, and it's kind of that interesting dynamic again, right? You look at our position player group, and it's an older group that has a ton of experience. And you look at our pitching staff, and as you said, how young they were a year ago.
Right.
Almost 50% of our innings pitched last year were by freshmen, and all those guys returned. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. And on top of that, man, we're able to add some young arms we're excited about too. So our pitching staff, really, really young still, but with some experience.
Right.
And that, as you said, that position player group is old and experienced, and hopefully, that combination, that blend, kind of carries us early on here.
Yeah, it's a good combination to have. And you mentioned the youth in your pitching staff, and we saw Brendan Asher really emerge as that Sunday guy down the stretch. And
yeah,
I think the guy of the rotation that we got to talk about is Easton Teal coming back for his sophomore season. I mean, he was just nails all year last year, and now he gets another offseason under his belt, kind of a true college offseason. What have you seen from him over the last few months, and what are the expectations for number 44 on the bump this year?
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to put expectations on him, right? Every year is so very different. Obviously, he had an outstanding year a year ago. After, I want to say, the third or fourth weekend of the year, he's thrown into that Friday night role and just took it and pitched extremely well. But we ask Eason the same as we ask every other guy, whether it's a position player or pitcher, man, how are we going to grow? How are we going to develop? How are we going to get better? And those are the things that all of our guys focus on, not just Easton. But obviously for him, coming off a good year, I know he's excited and ready to kind of get going and tack it in there. And you know what? You can put Nathan Love on the back of that too.
Right.
Nathan was a guy he was the only guy for us last year that started every weekend. So very consistent. Man, I say a lot of those guys, especially when you're talking about starting pitchers, all those guys are really vanilla. And when I say vanilla, man, very workmanlike. The way they go about their business, the way they approach games, the way they approach their preparation, it's very vanilla. But, man, those guys are super, super consistent.
You mentioned Love going wire to wire in that weekend role. And how much confidence do you think he's developed because of that? And he's pitched in some pretty high leverage situations and got you guys some pretty dominant performances.
I think experience is invaluable. It's hard to measure what that experience does for you, and for him, you can almost feel it.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch him pitch right now, heading into the season, you can just kind of feel that he's a lot more confident. He's a lot more steady with the way he approaches game and approaches his preparation. But the exciting thing for us is sending out those two guys, especially at the top of the rotation right now. That, man, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Right.
You know exactly what you're going to get, and that part makes you feel a little bit comfortable as a coach, knowing what you're going to get.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably one of the biggest luxuries you can have. Say, hey, I know exactly what's going to happen when these two guys are out here.
That's right.
Don't have to worry about it at all. I feel like another guy, you know exactly what you're going to get out of, especially down the stretch last year, was Vailele Kana-Yates.
Yeah.
Behind the dish. He was a really good defensive catcher, and then you throw his bat in there, especially in the last month or so of the season. He was on a tear, and now he's kind of getting some national recognition, and he comes back for yet another season and can kind of act as an anchor to that lineup that you guys have put together.
Yeah, I think Vi is in a much different space than he was a year ago at this time too. I think going into the season, there was a lot of questions that Vi wanted to answer himself, but going into this year, as you said, coming off a really good year, and just to see his growth from where he was last fall when he walked on campus to see where he's at right now, man, he is transformed kind of what he's doing, and especially in his preparation. You know, the play is one thing. Like he obviously played a lot better as the year went on, but man, to watch him prepare and man, he picked up this ball right where he left off too. You know, we're excited to get him back, and man, his growth and his development has been recognized nationally, as you said, as people are kind of paying attention to what he's doing and how he's doing it. But Vi's gotten a tremendous amount better, and you know, we expect that same kind of jump this spring too.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing too, just kind of looking at it on paper, 1 through 9. I mean, you guys realistically could throw the same 8 out of the 9 guys in that lineup, and of course, you bring in some new players as well, so things could change here and there, and that's, I guess, the hesitantly fun part about being the head coach. I mean, like, hey, we can try different things at different nights.
It is, you know, I think, as we talked about, experience becomes invaluable. And to be able to return all that experience on one hand is very good. And on the other hand, man, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We're going to have to make sure we get some of the younger players some experience too. And again, that's, as you said, that's the fun part. We're getting ready to find out. And, you know, Friday can't get here soon enough. I know, you know, we've been looking forward to that day for a long time. But, you know, guys get to this time of year and this week in particular and can see opening day coming, man. They start looking ahead, and we're just trying to back off a little bit and go, hey, you know what, we need to work out today. We need to get better today. So kind of balancing that has been tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe opening day is Friday. You guys open up with a 3-game homestand, or a 3-game series, I should say, 4-game homestand against Southern Illinois, and then next Tuesday against Missouri State. So a couple of pretty quality opponents to begin your year, and 2 teams that are coming off of really nice 2025s.
You look at this schedule, especially in the preseason here, man, it is a sneaky, really good schedule. We know this Southern Illinois team coming in, they're picked to compete for a Missouri Valley title. They've been very good. They've been very offensive the last several years. They're going to be well coached. So, man, they're going to be very good. You talked about Missouri State and their growth. They have one of the best players in the country that'll hit in the middle of their lineup. Then you look at Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian won the WAC a year ago, picked to compete for a WAC title again this year. Again, another team that's very talented, that's very well coached. We have an Arkansas State team coming in as well, and the Arkansas State team, that's a brand new staff that'll be their second season there, a staff we know really well, and it's going to be a really talented roster. They did some damage out of the portal. They're going to be well coached, and Dallas Baptist has perennially been one of the top programs in the country over a long period of time, and a ton of respect for those guys for what they do and how they do it. So you look at those first 4 weekends, man. We're going to find out a lot about our club in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas Baptist, a rematch from last year's weekend series, which was a really, really good one at your guys' place as well. And you get to roll it out on the turf, a brand new turf over at Chapman Park on Friday. And a couple more upgrades to the facilities. Of course, the turf kind of being the headliner there. Yeah. But what has that meant for your program, and just how the renovations kind of from start to finish, as we're kind of seeing everything be complete now with your facility? How much a game changer has that been for your
Well,
program?
I think it does two things for you. Number one, it creates this buzz, this little bit of buzz when people walk in the ballpark or they come to see it, and or they're looking at it online and see the beautiful turf and the updated or all the renovations we've done over the last really 2.5 years. And I think the first thing is there's a little buzz about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second part, and the part that's very important to us, is how you're able to develop players with those kind of facilities. So we have no excuse not to get better. We have no excuse not to be able to train on a regular basis. So, from our indoor facility to the newly renovated surface and the turf to you name it, we're in a really good spot in terms of facilities and being able to develop players.
Yeah, I mean, I would put the facilities we have at ORU against any Division I college baseball program out there. I mean, it's amazing to see what's happened to that place, and not that it was bad by any means before, but now it's just, top of the cream of the crop, whatever you want to call it. But it is really cool to see, and looking forward to seeing that brand new turf in action on Friday. You go over to the staff, and of course, a lot of familiar faces, but you have Kate in the building now.
Oh, yeah.
How has that been for you?
We got some news. So we actually have 3 additions to our staff this year. MJ Munoz has come in, and he kind of leads up our sports performance department, and he joined us in I think the last week of October. Done a great job up to this point, so we're excited for MJ and his growth. Parker Frazier comes in as our director of player development, and Parker's a guy that has a ton of experience. Played a bunch of professional baseball, has been a head coach at the high school level for several years, and brings a ton of experience into our coaching staff. So we're very excited for Parker. And as you said, a new operations assistant and Cade, my son. So that's kind of cool being able to share that with him as well.
Has it been dad, son, butting heads, or is it more coworkers?
No, it's coworkers. It's definitely so. No, he's doing a good job. He wants to get into the operation side of that, and it just kind of worked out the timing of it that we're able to slide him in that role. And I think he's excited. I think he's willing to learn. I think he's excited about a new position and a new challenge. I think as you're transitioning out of being a player into a different role, I think there's always learning curves and road bumps along the way. But he's done a great job. We're excited for him. We're excited for what he brings to our staff.
Now, I know you've been in the head coaching profession this will be your 13th season now at ORU, and when you go through a timeline like that with the amount of success that you've had, flipping the page to a new season, what excites you the most about that every year as we get going on Friday?
Yeah, I think because every team's so different. We talk about how many returning players that we have, and that's true. So it looks like much of the same team, but every team is just so different. You watch their growth and development, and how they come together as a team. That's the fun part. I think that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you juiced up is just watching teams start to create their own identity. We talk at length about it too, and I know our leadership group is excited to put their stamp on this team and really start to create their own identity. That's why opening day for me is so exciting, is because this new team starts to create their own identity. And if I had to kind of point to one thing, that would probably be it to keep me and us juiced up year after year.
Well, you guys get going on Friday, 3-game set against Southern Illinois. Should be a really, really fun one. And you mentioned the rest of the non-con, too. Just a really sneaky good schedule. And before we get you out of here, the conference in the Summit last year was very, very competitive at the top. Of course, St. Thomas made some noise. North Dakota State goes on to the tournament, and their elite pitching staff. And I know they kind of went elsewhere, but, that's going to happen when you have that sort of success. And even, from top to bottom, too, you had great games out of South Dakota State. You saw flashes from Northern Colorado at times. And just the league from top to bottom is a sneaky competitive one in baseball.
I would totally agree with you. And the league continues to get better. And I think it starts with leadership. Look, there's great coaches at all those places that you just mentioned, the guys that I have a tremendous amount of respect for and coach and do it the right way. So, I'm excited for where our league is and where it's going too. You see it continues to get better and grow. And man, that's exciting. And I expect that from the league again this year. I think, as you said, some of those guys are at other places, but I promise you they're going to replace them with good players as well, and they're going to be coached up. And, man, I'm excited to get started.
It should be a really, really fun season. Looking forward to talking with you, Coach, all season long, as we'll have the ORU Baseball Coaches Show every Wednesday at noon right here at Waldo's Chicken, so we can get you caught up on everything happening on the diamond from start to finish. But the marathon starts Friday against Southern Illinois. First pitch time at 3 o'clock on Friday, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. But, Coach, great to see you as always. Yeah. Thanks so much for the time. And
thank you.
Looking forward to talking with you on Friday afternoon. Should be a lot of fun.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the head baseball coach, Ryan Fulmer, and that'll do it for us here on the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. We'll be back next Monday, not same time, same place, 11 a.m. We'll go back to our normal scheduled time slot, so we'll be here from 11 a.m. to noon. But big thanks to Waldo's for having us out as usual. Big thanks to all three coaches joining us here today, and big thanks to all of you for making us part of your Monday afternoon. So we'll talk to you again next week. This has been the ORU Basketball Coaches Show on the ORU Sports Network.